All right. Hey, hi, hello, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well, and it's time for our weekly track roundup. My thoughts, my opinions, my feelings on a bunch of brand new songs and singles that have dropped over the past week. They are all linked down below, whether I loved them or hated them or felt somewhere in between, along with our Turntable Lab link. That's down below. We get kickback from it if you're buying some vinyl, a turntable, or something else off the site. Try that out. Also, our Patreon page. We get kickback from that, obviously, and you get in return some cool bonus monthly content, access to our Discord community, and we just put up a live reaction to the latest Limp Bizkit record over there as well, if that's something that's of interest to you. Cool. And G Fuel, shout out to G Fuel for continuing to support your melon. I fuck with their hydration formula heavy. Check out that link down below, promo code Needle Drop, to get a discount off that order. Cool, cool, cool. All right, worst tracks of the week. We have a couple. We have a few. They are as follows. New Tonight single, Tums. Not into this one. The mix is really dry, out of whack. Groove isn't there. The progressions aren't there really either. Despite this thing changing so many times, it still came off kind of tedious. Usually a big fan of Tonight. Usually a big fan, but I just feel like this track was not up to snuff. We have a new one from Terrace Martin as well. The record is out now. The whole record is out now, but this track from it, Drones, features Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, Ty Dolla $ign, James Fauntleroy is on it as well. And while it does have a groove, it doesn't really have much else. The Snoop appearance is bleh. The Kendrick appearance, the Kendrick vocals are pretty mid, and all of the harmonies around that are incredibly messy. It's just a sloppy track. I'm just not sure as to what the appeal of this one is, sadly. We have One Right Now, new track from Post Malone and The Weeknd. Was pretty excited for this one, given the important place that both of these guys play in pop music and R&B. I thought that maybe best case scenario, we might hear like a cool fusion of both of their respective styles, but instead we got both of them kind of plugging away very by the numbers over a super generic pop beat and forgettable song. I don't even remember it now, and I just heard it earlier today. So yeah, One Right Now. We have one from Green Day as well, Holy Toledo. This one is annoying. I have nothing else to say. All right, meh. Let's move on to the tracks that I was a little on the fence about, but didn't love them, didn't hate them, but you might like them more than me. Travis Scott has two new singles out that are pretty bland. Reviewed them over on the Fantano channel, and I will say, while I do like the somewhat mournful tone of the second of the two singles, Mafia, outside of that, I'm just kind of shocked that Travis's sound has not really progressed at all over the past 5 years or so. He's just kind of doing the same exact thing, and it just kind of gets more and more played out every time. We have a Slipknot, the Chapeltown Rag. It's loud, it's gnarly, but I don't know. Choruses are not that great. The transitions are just okay. It feels like it's kind of lacking something, or it's in too much of a rush to finish. Yeah. We have a new one from Porcupine Tree. Their first single as a band in over a decade, Harridan is the title. And it's not a bad prog cut. I'm not absolutely in love with it. There are some points where the vocals do underwhelm a little bit, and the performance is not exactly crazy or anything, but there are some great transitions. I love the synths and electronics on the back end. Feels slightly inspired by the creative turn that Steven Wilson has taken with his recent stuff in a good way. It's a decent return single. Definitely looking forward to what they're going to be doing after this. We have a new one from Idles, Car Crash. The band is flirting with some really heavy and industrial sounds this time around. I just think the song is a little tedious in terms of pacing, and the groove could have used maybe some change-ups along the runtime of the track, but it is cool that they're experimenting and trying out some new stuff. We do have Franz Ferdinand, Hits to the Head, new record on the way, and this one over here which is hilariously titled Billy Goodbye. It has a lot of, I guess I'll say, a lot of cheeky attitude to it, some decent grooves and riffs, but I don't know, there's something kind of hokey about it that's a little off-putting. Maybe that'll grow on me. Maybe that character will grow on me when I hear the entire record. I guess we'll see, but shout out to Franz Ferdinand for the new single for sure. We have Rich Brian, New Tooth, brand new cut that doesn't really seem to know where it wants to go entirely. The rapping on it is fine, but the first portion of the song sort of kind of runs its course really quickly, and then there's a beat switch, and then that sort of goes nowhere fast. Both respectively decent ideas, but they don't really develop into anything decent overall, or I guess anything amazing overall is really what I want to say. It's just kind of middle of the road for me, for Rich Brian. I think he's put out much better stuff. We have Alt J, Get Better, brand new track, and it's a very low-key ballad. While it's not blowing me away, I think it's leagues better than the last single they put out. What is it, that You and Me single? That one was really just kind of dead on impact for me, but this one's a lot more enjoyable and tuneful for sure. And best tracks of the week, we have a few. We have a couple that I would love to point you to, starting with, we have this one from Thank. Thoughtless Cruelty is the record that is on the way, and the song is Good Boy. It's very noisy. It's yes, it's mostly like a very aggressive, savage noise rock track with some slight industrial undertones. It's very nasty. It's very in your face. It's got a great energy to it. I'm liking the again the savageness of it quite a bit. We have a cover, a Bill Callahan cover, of the song America from the band Squid. They did a great job sort of turning this track into their own for sure. I love the way it ends. It really hits some intense peaks. Check it out. We have a Silk Sonic, Smokin' Out the Window, brand new track, third single from the forthcoming record. It's dropping next week, and the third single is a banger. Very funny, chock full of personality. That line about finding her barefoot on the streets, it's nuts. It's a crazy track. It's that classic soul that they've been indulging in so far, and it's done very well. It's very fun. We have Lorde, who has seen fit to drop 2 bonus tracks from Solar Power onto sort of a deluxe edition of the record. And look, one of them's awful. The other one, though, the second of the 2 extra cuts, I think is actually quite great. I'm pretty impressed with the songwriting and the lyrics on this one, Hold No Grudge. It's just that I wish the production was better. It's very, very apparent that like these bonus tracks were barely mastered, barely mixed. They're very muddy. They're very messy. So don't expect, them to sound as great as the core tracks of the record. But the song on this one is so freaking good. I just wish that it got finished for the LP. Hopefully it's something that Lorde decides to go back to at some point in her career, because I think this song is so good. It does warrant finishing. We have Indigo de Souza, who has come through with a YouTube video where she's covering Frank Ocean's Ivy, and it sounds really freaking good. Give it a listen. It's great. It's a good cover. It's a very good cover. Give it a listen. We have Chelsea Wolfe and Converge teaming up for another single for a forthcoming record where it's going to be a whole Converge and Chelsea Wolfe record. Coil is the title. It's heavy. It's string back. It's gothic. It's atmospheric. There's some kind of tedious verses on the track here and there, but it's a massive number with a lot of high points. And just really looking forward to this project. It should be an exciting crossover for sure. We have Christian Lee Hutson, Strawberry Lemonade, a really strong single, big Elliott Smith vibes, and some beautifully tragic and poetic lyrics on the track as well. I'm liking how stark and how upfront and just how naked the song is, and then it kind of escalates into this kind of grand, sad rock finish. Give it a listen. It's great. Loving it. And we have Charli XCX, brand new single with Caroline Polachek, as well as Christine and the Queens. New Shapes is the title. Liking this one a lot more than Good Ones. It's a more anthemic track. The Caroline portion is fantastic. The Christine and the Queens portion is fantastic. And while I'm liking this one a lot more, I don't know how excited I am for the new LP at this point. I mean, not that I thought that Charli was going to do hyperpop stuff forever, but I feel like with these 2 new tracks, it's kind of safe to say that that era for her is sort of over and that she's moving on to something else. You know, slightly more of an 80s throwback sound this time around, and I think it's done, better on this one, but I guess we'll see how it all plays out when we hear the full record. All right, Black Country New Road. Another single to the forthcoming record. This one is hilariously titled Bread Song, and it's got some beautiful chord resolutions and some amazing instrumentation. I'm hoping to dive more into the lyrics on the track in the coming weeks, and especially when the entire album is out for sure. The band is really shaping up to be one of the most interesting, contemporary bands in the underground, in the indie scene, whatever you want to say. Out there right now, and yeah, I just love to see them, progressing and just putting out really emotionally compelling stuff. All right, and we have Arca, who has dropped 2 new singles, Prada and Rakata. These 2 tracks are really industrial, psychedelic, reggaeton beats behind them. They're super futuristic and harrowing, liking the vibe, and they are super strange, and looking forward to Kick 2 for sure. And that has been the weekly track roundup, everybody. Those are the weekly tracks I would like to round up. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this video. Remember, all those tracks are linked down below so you can check them out for yourself. Love you, love you, love you. Anthony Fantano, weekly tracks forever.